Hi again then guys, and welcome to the first of a number of tune setups that we're going to be doing for the new cars of the 1.28 patch, and of course many of you, myself included, were really excited to see if the new Mazda RX500 could be a great car for earning cash. Now I was hoping that it could be detuned to N200, because you can actually win in N200 with the classic Alpine. I've done a bit of tuning on it myself. I've still got a bit of work to do with it. I'm coming close, but not quite that quick yet. Likewise with this one, it's got the potential. The problem is the acceleration isn't great. It's got a good top speed, fantastic handling. Acceleration, unfortunately, not so much. So what I did instead is build this one to be an alternative to the GT40, the KTM, and pretty much any other N300 car. So you're still looking at up around 2 million an hour or close to it. It's not quite as quick as the GT40. It's running 47 second laps instead of 46, but it's close enough, and I think some people might prefer the handling on this one. So as far as the tuning goes, I'd recommend dropping the weight as much as you can. You want to tune it to the peak of N300, so the highest power that you can get within that. And as far as traction, I would recommend having it off, but of course that'll depend on you. Tyres, I've gone for super softs front and rear, which is unusual for a classic. Usually you have to compensate on the front. As far as the suspension, I've gone for 120mm, the highest possible frequency on the springs, anti-roll on 7 front and rear, compression and the rebound on the dampers as low as you can go, 1 degree of camber on the back, none on the front. You could try running none on both if you want to, see which you prefer. Neutral toe as usual. As far as the diff, you can change this car a lot based on the differential, so I've opted for the highest initial torque, and then as you can see as low as possible for both the acceleration and the braking. But again, that'll depend on you, depend on your driving style, etc. And for the gearbox, I've opted for an auto setting of 199, and then if I recall correctly, I don't think I've actually adjusted any of the individual gears themselves, which of course you could do, but this is more about the handling side of things, and with that auto setting, it's already got so much power that it easily gets up around the other cars. You can overtake stuff like the Porsche GT3 with it, which is pretty impressive for a classic. And of course, you can overtake them anyway through the corners, but I mean on the straights as well. It's that quick. So that's it for the tune. Now, of course, what you want to see is what it can do in action. Now, as I mentioned, it's not quite as quick as the GT40. It's similar to the Miura, perhaps a little bit quicker, and personally I prefer it vastly over the KTM. The KTM is still the most affordable option, around N300 by a slight margin over the Porsche, the new Porsche GT3. This one though, it's a good all-rounder. It's got good top speed, the acceleration is really good with this level of power, it's really lightweight. The handling is a bit heavier than the GT40. You definitely can't throw it into a corner as easily as you can with the Ford, and I would recommend the way to drive this particular car with this tune at least is to ease onto the brakes just before you enter the corner, allow the car to coast into it, and then ease onto the throttle as you exit. You don't really want to slam on the brakes, slam on the throttle. With some cars you can do that, with the GT40 you can, with the Porsches you can. With this one, not so much. You need a little bit more finesse to it, so ease onto the brakes, ease onto the throttle, and once you get that flow going, you'll find it really good. Now, I said that you can average 47 second laps. That's true, it's in the low 47s. You can break into the 46s though, pretty easily. So it's a good all-rounder, and crucially, it's a lot cheaper than the GT40. So for those of you guys who don't want to grind that much cash for the Ford, I mean, it doesn't take that long, but if you don't want to, you can do Blue Moon Bay twice and buy this car, because it's only $500,000. And if you can get a clean race, you're looking at 375 grand every time, and you can do it in under 12 minutes. So pretty good, pretty good. Even against stuff like the LaFerrari, you can still win. I know some people prefer to exit the race and come back until the LaFerrari isn't there, but either way, you can win. If you find that you need to do that, by all means do so. It will be even easier. But if you want a bit more of a challenge, try taking it up against the Ferrari. I certainly do. But that's it for the tune overall. Of course, you can click through here on screen to see all of my GT Sport tunes, and make sure that you stick around on the channel later today for my review of this car, where we'll go much more in depth into all of its great points and perhaps not so good points. But that's it overall. Of course, I'll see you guys next time, and for now, as always, thanks for watching.